Welcome to Trigger Warning Extra Time. Thanks so much for joining us this week. My name's Graham Booth. You might know me from Game Face, or you might know me as Mantumbi as well. I've been playing Shenmue a lot recently. Mantumbi was my online gamer name. I'm joined tonight with Hayden Hewitt. You alright, man?
I'm going off you rapidly.
Mantumbi.
What does that mean?
It's the god of funk.
The god of funk.
The god of funk.
Is it really?
It is. It's from the Mighty Boosh. Ugh. It's a squiggly. It's got squiggly funk teats, and if you suckle on his funky teats, you become funk. You become the embodiment of funk. It's completely perfect for me.
Yeah, it's great.
It was actually a social justice warrior that gave me that name, and I took it and I ran with it, and I was like, thank you.
Same what's mine, Shred Monkey 72. So I can't really say much, can I?
I've not gone as Mantumbi for ages though, but I'm Ryo Izuki at the moment. Looking for sailors, trying to find the murderer of my dead father.
Looking for sailors, are you? Yeah. That sounds about right. That part I believe. Yeah. Hello, sailor.
Guys, before we get on with the show, please drop us a share if you are a regular listener, or if you're a new listener, whatever, please drop us a share. You've no idea how much we appreciate it. Hit that share button, whack us on Twitter or Facebook or whatever dirty place. Just put us as a comment in things. Put us on YouTube comments or whatever. Listen to these assholes. If you YouPorn. Yeah. Please start spamming our links on YouPorn with the hashtag YourNext. If you really want to help out, then please get on the Patreon. Patreon, it is Trigger Warning on there. You can see the logo when you search for it, dead easy. You can chuck in as little as $1, although it's got to be said, most people have gone for more than that because they are absolutely stunning people, and the main push right now on Patreon is Make Tuesdays Triggering. We want to do every single Tuesday live on camera, expand it essentially 2 live telly shows a week, and we're going to do more specials along the lines of things like elections. Why are you doing your eyes? Okay, carry on, all excited. If you want to be a little bit more selfish in the way you support the show, you can go on gearpress.co.uk. That's gearpress.co.uk. There's loads of Trigger Warning merch on there, including other things as well, like Live Leak and all sorts of other stuff. Still no Game Face, because I haven't pulled my finger out and sorted it yet. And we still don't have the Che Guevara Alex Jones t-shirt that I really want.
I thought it was Tommy you wanted.
I want Tommy as well, but okay. you sold me on
the
Alex Jones as Che Guevara with loads of communist fists showering around them.
Beautiful.
It'd be so good.
Breaking news.
Go on.
Actual breaking news. Flashed up to us by Last Dance in the chat room. Michael Cohen.
Yes.
Pleads guilty to 8 criminal counts. Says he acted at the direction of a candidate for federal office.
Yes, I know. I've got that up for extra time. Yeah. He's doing a plea deal, isn't he? Bless his little face.
He's got the tapes.
It's so good. And the best part is, as we've made very, very clear on here, any kind of interference with Trump would be insane.
Well, have you heard this? He kept information that would have been harmful to the candidate and the campaign from becoming public.
Yes.
Now, do you know what? I think Teflon Don's probably going to wriggle out of it anyway, but this is going to be bad. There's going to be a tweet storm.
Yeah.
His tiny little thumbs are going to be going like the clappers. He'll be sat having a shit in the morning with his AIDS banging, not his AIDS. I mean, his AIDS.
His AIDS.
Not disease AIDS.
Yeah.
The other AIDS. Do they give you? No. Anyway. They'll be banging on the door. Donald, stop!
No collusion! All caps!
Oh, this is going to be amazing.
It's good because they're getting him on the campaign finance thing, aren't they? That's the main push, and it's a good way to go if you want to fuck Trump. Then because he's been really shady with his money.
That's blown up on the NRA as well, hasn't it?
Yeah,
the financing side of things, but. Apparently everyone moved away from Cohen when it's getting difficult. Trump distanced himself from him, and apparently Cohen told his friends that he has felt isolated. He's going to feel a lot more isolated pretty soon.
He's looking at 3 to 5 years in jail. Actual jail time, just before the election.
The timing of this. You know what? You could almost believe it was done on purpose, couldn't you? You could almost believe this was done at a specific time to cause as much damage as possible. If I was more cynical, I'd think there were shenanigans going on. I really would.
I know. It's so good. American politics is so much fun at the moment. It's ridiculous.
Covfefe, says Last Dance. Covfefe to fuck. If Covfefe means, oh shit, then this is Covfefe.
It's great. Oh, tax evasion as well, isn't it? Is that the only thing that you can get people on in America?
It works.
Like it seems to be that thing, doesn't it? You know, people get they just get away with everything.
Capone, wasn't it?
But tax evasion is the one thing. Like any celebrity, anyone, it's
then
like
he died in prison of syphilis.
That's how they got Blade, isn't it? Wesley Snipes. Fucking tax evasion. There you go, son. Get the fucking jail. He probably killed people, didn't he? But they can't get him for any of that though.
It's the first time we've had breaking news on a Trigger Warning podcast.
Yeah. Well, apart from my bowels going.
Yeah, but Manafort.
I've gotta go.
Oh, hang on, Manafort. What's happened with him? Let's get the latest on Manafort as well. I'm sure I saw something pop up on chat before, but obviously when you're doing this, found guilty on 8 counts.
Yeah.
Found guilty. That's different to pleading guilty, isn't it? Oh, dear me.
I love that as well. In part of Cohen's plea, specifically, it says that he made a payment to a woman for $150,000, specifically for the principal purpose of influencing the election. He's so fucked. As
Aphid Lip rightly points out, I nearly called him Aphid Lip then, I'm turning into Cherry. Collusion isn't illegal. We'll see. We'll see how that pans out. Alice says, hey dudes, from me and Mark again. Hello guys.
Hiya, you're all right.
Yeah, great. That's just thrown me that. He really has gone. I'll tell you what, guys, you only give me 3 years, I'll give you something spectacular.
3 years, and come on, this ain't gonna be like the Clink, is it? This is
he's gonna do a very comfortable.
It's gonna be like Butlins.
Yeah, he's going to do a very comfortable couple of years. He's not getting bummed in the showers.
Nah, he's going where all the bankers go. Well, he might get bummed in all the showers because they all went to public school and that's what they're into, aren't they? It's how they
but
express
it would
themselves.
be entirely consensual.
Yeah. Big animal masks on and things like that. Robes.
Oh, this week's going to be I can't wait to get on Twitter later on. I literally can't wait. Not to tweet. Just to read and absorb. What time is it? Trump usually goes to the potty around 7ish, doesn't he, in the morning?
Yeah.
You can always tell when he hits the shitter angry.
Oh, I know.
Oh, it must be all up the sides and everything as he's jumping. He's under some severe fucking pressure right now.
Paul Manafort found guilty on 8 counts, 5 of which have a 3-year maximum, so that's 15 years. 2 of them have a 30-year maximum, so that's 60. So we're totally in.
Yeah, he's probably going to be quite old when he gets out.
75 years maximum he's looking at right now, and then failing to file foreign bank account, that's another 5 years. That puts it up to 80 max he's looking at right now.
Can Trump pardon him?
I hope so. That
would be beautiful.
Publicly.
Because he
via tweets.
Didn't he pardon Sheriff Joe?
Oh, he did. Yeah. That weird guy that was like using like slavery labor.
So
in
if
prisons.
he's going to pardon him, surely Manafort isn't a terrible stretch for him, Because surely if you were Manafort, you would be saying, "Come on, Donald. I mean, you gave that fucking lunatic a pass. Help a brother out here."
I want Trump to walk out with a cowboy hat on, a big white cowboy hat, and just be like, "I'm pardoning him. He's a good man."
Very fine man on both sides.
He's a very fine man.
He's a very fine man.
He had a little slip, but he's learned
8 little slips.
He's learned the error of his ways, and
he won't get caught again.
I would love it. I would fucking love it.
Because the thing is that obviously people, politics is a team sport now.
Yeah.
So people have been saying it's all nonsense. They'll never get Manafort. They'll not get this. They'll not get that. But this shit's all lining up now. I don't know that they'll ever get Trump. Okay, I don't know that that'll ever happen. I'm not sure that would be a good thing.
The issue is it's easy to get excited about it as if it is part of Trump and it is part of all that, but ultimately not a lot of it directly connects to him that much. Like
the Cohen stuff.
There's just enough plausible to, I mean, we don't know what's on all the tapes. We don't know what's on the plea deal, but Manafort doesn't. His tax tax evasion. I mean, it's got fuck all to do with Trump.
I think rolling Manafort like this, number one, it was a message, wasn't it? And number two, you don't know what they've got out of it. We don't know half of what goes on behind closed doors. There's a lot of shenanigans going on here. As we said, the timing of this is...
They need to slow down, though. I mean, the pace they're going at is okay as long as it still takes another 2 years, because they cannot. If they get Trump out, here's the thing: Trump has
get Pence.
Yeah, well, yeah, outside of Pence, outside of Daddy Pence, getting Trump out of office, although it would be very satisfying and it'd be fucking amazing to watch, would be civil war. You're looking at civil war, and really they could do with. I mean, I don't know though. How do you play it? Because
to be honest, I'd quite like another 4 years of Trump because the tears are fucking exceptional.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. I mean, yeah, because the actual policy isn't that. It's just business as usual, really, isn't it? There's not a hell of a lot. It's not like he's doing anything hugely drastic. I mean, the bad shit that Trump does is not. It's just as bad as it's different things, but it's just as bad as Obama. It's just as bad as Clinton. It's just as bad as Bush.
Last Dance has pointed out here that Cohen is pleading guilty on federal charges, which means Trump could pardon him.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
But it depends what his plea deal was. I'm not sure how inclined Trump will be to pardon him, depending on what comes out with the plea deal. It's all so filthy, isn't it?
Well, Trump might just throw him under the bus. He loves doing that, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's done it with his own son, didn't he?
That desperate.
Get under there, Junior. Go on, under those wheels. Get right under. Right under with your big, strangely large forehead. Under you go. His sons are just congenital fucking idiots as well, but... It must be. Do you know what? I imagine Donald Trump is so disappointed in how his son's turned out. At least his daughter's got something about her. She does it. He put her at a table with world leaders.
Yeah.
She didn't go to bits. And everyone complains about that and it wasn't right. And perhaps it wasn't quite appropriate. But, credit to the girl. She rocked it out. She didn't back down. So all the best for her. His sons, though. Not Barron. He's a little boy. I don't like the abuse of Barron.
No.
Like when they used to see all the abuse online about Obama's daughters. Yeah. I don't hold with that. I really, really don't hold with that at all.
Legit disgusting.
And it is when they attack Barron as well. He's a little boy. He loves his dad, as far as I know. I mean, I don't know the relationship, but I'm imagining that he loves his dad because it's his dad.
Yeah.
It's not Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's not the President of the United States. It's, his dad.
It's that fella I see once a month.
Yeah, that gives me all that stuff. So, I don't know. I can't be doing with that.
But the older kids,
his older sons are just a pair of fucking idiots.
They're jetting her all around the world, selling property on the back of the fact that their dad's the president. There's been plenty of stuff that's come out where they're like, Yay, it'll work, it'll be all right. We've got a line to the president, guys, and they're selling real estate, buying and selling all over the world, all over the fucking world. So at that point, they are more than open to ridicule, more than open to criticism.
Absolutely. I know with the Mueller probe, everyone's focusing on Russia and Riley, so I don't know that that'll ever come out. But they're going to get something damaging, and this Cohen thing must be the alarm bells. I mean, they'd have known a little before everybody else. The alarm bells must have been ringing. There'll be something damaging, and Trump's support is amazing because it is incredibly polarized right now. But you only have to erode a few percent.
Yeah.
And I don't know that any of this will lead to Russian collusion. I'm not sure. Obviously, I don't know. If I knew, I'd have put money on it by now. But I don't see that this is... But the Mueller probe is going to dig up something that's very, very uncomfortable for Trump. And I think the Cohen thing is the first one to fall over. Manafort, I think, was collateral damage.
Yeah.
I think he just fell on him. And, well, obviously not by accident, by design. But they're going through his circle, aren't they? One at a time.
Yeah.
One at a time.
I think you're right, though. There hasn't been a strong Russia thing so far. Not strong enough to do... Like those 12 people. And, it was like... There was a big fuss made about it, like the arrest warrants issued and that, and it was like, they were hacking into the servers.
More damaging is Russia and the NRA.
And that's still there, but still, the core of that is America accused 12 Russian spies of spying, and it's like, guys, that's kind of their fucking job.
Yeah.
There was a lot made of it, and it was all the paperwork and everything, and even with the NRA, it's like, well, yeah, that's That's their job, is to infiltrate and keep an eye on and influence. And we do the same.
I'm not saying,
you know.
I mean, whatever my thoughts on Russia are, they're doing what we do.
Yeah, there's not.
The fact is, the NRA, that was a stupid move on their part, and now they're suffering for it, and they are suffering for it now.
Oh yeah, they've been fucked.
So I think it's going to be interesting what comes with Trump. I can't say that Russian collusion will ever really come up because, you know, even if the people around him slip up, Russia probably won't. You know, but why would Russia give a shit anyway? They don't care. Putin doesn't give a
This is all great for Russia, because Russia isn't exactly. It's not the biggest economy. It's a fucking huge place, but economically, its army, it ain't shit. It ain't shit. And Russia is like, it's very good at being what North Korea wants to be. Russia causes a lot of shit, and it constantly enlarges its own importance on the world stage.
Well,
and
in
it
the
does
80s, the Americans helped enlarge their importance as well, because if you look back at a lot of it, the Russian military capability wasn't anywhere near what we were sold.
No.
Nowhere near. But it was in America's interests to make it so, and Russia were going to go along with that, and there you go. That's how we ended up where we are. But it's moved on a bit now. They got a Putin now.
They got Putin.
He's a very clever sausage. I'm not a fan. I detest that online as well. You know, like I don't like what America does, so I'm going to support Russia.
Yeah.
Are you insane? Are you insane? That's a despicable, despotic leader of a country that deserves so much better. And it's just, what are you doing? Well, yeah, but Russia at least. And why would they lie? Because that's what they fucking do. They invented whataboutery.
Yeah.
It's Russia. If we're going to ever have an enemy, it's going to be Russia. You know, don't just pick the... It's like when I saw things on Twitter. I am Iran.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh,
Hashtag, I am Iran. And someone put that to me. Well, I'm not fucking Iran. Well, they hang people for kissing other men, fucking for nothing. You know, beat women for not wearing... No, I'm not fucking Iran. Fuck Iran.
Tell women off for not having their hair covered. Fuck you, man. Fuck all that.
The last dance in our chat room there has just asked what about the P-tape.
Who cares, man?
I've not had a copy.
Who gives a sweet
I was
fuck?
asked, would you show it on Live Leak? And it's like, yeah, right up until we got fucking killed. Yeah.
But I mean,
Because, you know, we had that conversation. If Putin rang you up,
yeah,
for all you say about him, you'd be like, hello, Mr. Putin, so may I say you look tremendous in those photos.
Yeah.
If Donald Trump rang any one of these people that bitch around and say, I'd tell him he's a dick and all that. If he rang you up,
yeah,
hello, it's Donald Trump here. Granted, you put the phone down first and yeah, whatever, bollocks, like I did with the Secret Service that time.
Yeah.
But if you said, no, it's Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America, I think you'd be hard-placed to go, oh, you're a dickhead. I think you'd start off by going, hello, Mr. Trump.
Hello there.
Yeah, that's some mighty fine Secret Service you have.
Did you like the Photoshop we did of you for the set?
Yeah. I thought it was quite flattering. Because these are very important people. You know,
of course you were.
You know, everyone says Trump's a reality TV star. He's a failed businessman. Yet he's all those things. He's bankrupted a lot of his own businesses and a lot of other businesses through not paying them. But he's the president of the United States of America, the most powerful nation on earth. To just assume that he's a complete congenital moron with no sway, that's a very naive view.
Yeah.
It's a very naive view to have.
It's a weird one with Trump, isn't it? Because they either say that he's being manipulative and he's dog whistling and all that stuff. When it suits him, he's like super manipulative, and then when it suits him the other way, he's like, he's a fucking idiot. Look at him, dumbass. And it's like, he can't be both guys. Either he's a fucking idiot or he's clever and manipulative. It's
the level of hatred people. I would love to have half an hour for a chat with Donald Trump.
Oh, it'd be loads of fun.
I would love to have half an hour for a chat with Hillary Clinton. You know, when we got Tommy Robinson, when the rules were that you just have to either worship him as a god or stamp on him.
Yeah.
I like to listen to them talk.
Let them speak.
And that's what I really enjoy. And, you know, I would like to hear him tell me. Yeah, I mean, it'll never happen.
Yeah.
But I'd love to hear him tell me. It's like Alex Jones when I was on his show and we're chatting nice and he said things I despise. I would adore to have a drink with Alex Jones and hear how he thinks.
That'd be great. He's supposed to be a really cool guy outside of the show.
You hear different things, but
I mean, I won't really be married to him or anything like that. But
I'd love to meet him.
out with him.
Trump, can you imagine having the no matter what you think of him, the chance to talk to somebody who was basically the leader of the free world, whether you like it or not.
The problem with Trump is it's either Fox and Friends where they're just kissing his ass, like, "Hey, Mr. President," and in which case he's just on that warm, like, "Yeah, aren't I amazing?" Or he's really on the defensive because people are like, like Piers did it as well. He didn't really prick him, and he's mates with him. I think, I'd love to just hear him speak. Actually hear him speak. And people shit all over Dave Rubin for that. Did you ever see the Rubin report?
Yeah.
And I personally, I fucking hate Rubin. He pisses me off. He's so easily led, and he'll just parrot people's opinions as if the thing. But I've got a lot of respect for the show that he does, even though he annoys me, because he lets people speak.
Oh, it's wonderful.
He just lets it. And
Do you know what I think a big problem is now?
Go on.
As we've gotten more polarised and everyone's more delicate, and everyone says don't offend anyone, we've forgotten about manners.
Yeah.
Now I know I come on and do the Thursday shows where I'm screaming at people and saying dreadful things, but in real life, as you know, I put a lot of stock in manners. If a live leaker, let's say even this one that gives me shit all the time, if I were to meet them, treat them with a courtesy and manners because it's the way I was brought up. I despise the monarchy. I will never bow to the Queen. I couldn't.
No.
But I would never treat her anything less than a 90-year-old lady.
Yeah.
Who deserves respect because she's a 90-year-old lady and that's what you do. Even if you found out she did the most despicable thing, you treat people with humanity and you're reasonable with them. And I think manners nowadays are seen as a weakness. You get it online. Well, it's only the internet.
Fuck civility.
And I'm a prick for it. I'm a dreadful prick online. It's fun. But usually, if someone's been a prick with me, I'll be a prick back because I always thought that's the game. But I do believe it's seeping into real life. Yeah, I do believe it's seeping into real life too much now, where manners are seen as a weakness and not strength. And it's like with Junior, my son. You've met him, a really polite, lovely boy.
Yeah, he's lovely, yeah.
But it's a struggle because a lot of the kids at his school aren't like that.
Yeah.
So that's a struggle. I don't want to get into manners. That's not HJ. Someone's just said, guys, you really want socialism in the UK? Question mark.
No.
That's Crispy Bacon Halal Hoax, who somehow believes we support socialism. No.
There's a really interesting point on that, actually, because the big threat with Russia used to be the socialism. That was the worry, wasn't it? Yeah. And the hilarious thing now is they obviously realised that it's an insanely destructive force and it makes everyone poor. And, and my point that I always try really hard to remind people is you can have social programmes and not have socialism. Yeah. You don't have to conflate the two. You can collectively agree to look after people without socialism, but the best thing about Russia is its danger is still exporting socialism.
Yeah.
Look at that shit with the Russian infiltration of the election. Part of that was fun, setting up demonstrations and setting up things. They got Michael Moore to go to one, didn't they? And it's like Russia's still getting the socialists to get together, and that's their main. That's the danger of Russia, the genuine danger.
Colrophobe said, "I thought you were socialists." I think you have a very poor understanding of socialism.
No, we're not socialists at all, man.
Not even close. I believe in a capitalist model where you have regulation of certain industry, and I believe that's very important. Which some people believe makes me a socialist, which isn't the case. I look at things like healthcare and education and public utilities as an investment. So it's actually a purely capitalist ideal. It really is. If you have a better educated and healthier populace, you can increase the productivity and profitability
that's one way
of your nation. And that's the way I do look at it.
Yeah.
Everything's an investment.
It's a perfectly reasonable perspective, and one that we've really, really lost focus on.
Yeah, we have. We've totally lost it. Because I genuinely believe that. I do believe that when someone has reached the end of their working life, they have earned enough credits. I'm not talking about the malingerers. That's the exception everyone argues for, the cheats and things. They're a minority. They deserve to have then, after they've paid in through their whole lives, they deserve to be kept without having to work and to be kept healthy. Young people deserve to be educated.
Yeah.
we all pay into a system of healthcare. But if we work out for that, it leads to better. Now, someone said it's all perfect on paper. I don't think you understand that it's worked quite well in real life as well. It's not socialism. I don't think you understand socialism very well if you think that we are socialists in this country.
Socialism is the removal of private property. That is what socialism is. It is the act of moving towards communism. They sugarcoat it by saying it's public ownership of the means of production, but that is another way of saying removing people's private property.
Yeah, of course.
It's.
I mean, I do believe in public utilities, though.
Yeah.
I genuinely
totally
think
get
it
that.
worked better.
I think that the problem is, and we were talking about this the other day, like we've got this big push at the moment to nationalise the railways again, and the problem that we've got here is we never actually privatised the railways. They're heavily subsidised, and if you're gonna hand a private business millions upon millions upon millions to keep running, it's the same with the buses. They ain't the person that comes, the capitalist model of the person that's going to rise to the top in terms of doing the job right. That's never going to happen if we keep subsidising it.
I've got to say to you, crispy bacon halal oats said it all sounds good on paper. So does capitalism.
Yeah.
But unfettered capitalism leads to the same sort of calamity as unfettered socialism. It's about balance in all things.
Yeah,
social care. Without capitalism, nothing to drive the country forward. Okay, I've had this argument online with people saying somebody earns too much. What fucking business of yours it is? If someone works and gets themselves into a position where they can earn millions, good luck to them.
Yeah, good.
Have as many cars as you want, buy whatever you want. It's your money. That's why when after the Grenfell Tower disaster, when Corbyn put across the great idea of appropriating or empty buildings.
Oh yeah.
For survivors. See, that sounds nice, but what you're doing is stealing someone's property.
Yeah, of course you are.
There should be social housing already for these people.
Yeah.
But the easy answer was to take from the rich, and that's not a good thing.
You don't spend 50 years not building houses and then go, well, we'll just take some of those, because it's like, well, we should be fucking building it. If you look at the graph of building after World War II, huge, massive, and it's just gone down and down and down. The last 20 years, it's been pathetic, absolutely pathetic.
So the answer is take rich people's homes, and that's wrong.
Fucking build houses.
They're not anybody's to take.
Houses. It's insane to me that we don't build houses. I saw someone the other day going on about fucking golf clubs. We need to take over golf clubs and build houses there. It's like, are you fucking joking? The amount of space, I mean, the amount of places just in this city alone where there's just dirt ground. There's
the right to buy killed our housing.
The right to buy was insane.
A lot of people look back at Margaret Thatcher's reign, the fact that we were quite affluent in that time, not realising the long-term damage we've done by putting people in a debt trap, by selling off our assets at bottom-rate prices for temporary gain, and it was temporary gain. Thing is, people think of temporary as 5 years. It's not. It's 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years is temporary gain. And the right to buy, the idea that was sold to people, that is against ordinary people, the ability to own a home. And what it eventually ended up was it gave private landlords the ability to own homes. So instead, we had a situation where people were paying more for rent of a property that was previously worth considerably less, but not getting the benefits of council housing, which used to be shit got done.
And well, the other side to that as well is there's no such thing as council housing anymore. I mean,
it's all been given away to different organisations.
Well, it's been sold off to housing associations.
One Manchester,
Guinness, Northern, Riverside, and the best part of that very rarely gets talked about is part of the agreement on them selling the stock to these companies, which is just so poorly run, so insanely poorly run, because there's a chief execs everywhere. Is they don't just look after housing, they look after supported and sheltered housing. So the local councils completely wash themselves of any responsibility for looking after old people and looking after homeless, alcoholics, all that stuff. And in order for them to get the council houses cheap, because they got them super fucking cheap, part of the deal was, okay, but you have to look after this house as well. But over a period of 20 years, these places are like, well, we've done our bit. We it was ring fenced for 3 years. We fought it for another 6 years just to keep a few people in their jobs and everything. But those homeless hostels are going now. They're falling away. Sheltered housing is run like a fucking joke now. And I don't know, I shouldn't be talking about all this. It's really inappropriate timing.
No, I've got this ahead of me. It's fine.
It's
not for me personally.
It's no. We were chatting about something else, but it's really badly run, and people don't realise that with the loss of council houses, there was also the loss of any responsibility whatsoever. And now they're talking about bringing health and social care into the NHS. It won't work because they've fucked it so systematically. Because you can't just then hand over, because then you've got all these houses that'll close and they're fighting, and it's pure fucking madness. They've screwed the whole system for short-term gain.
Oh yeah,
and it's come up on the back of like the gig economy and all that. Because here's the thing, where you used to be a plumber that worked for the council, now they're just hiring, the tendering, and it's all these temporary contracts.
I used to work for the council.
Yeah,
many years ago when I was a young man in bands, you just took temporary jobs to cover your ass while you were basically slacking off. But I worked on the car parks as security, oddly enough, and I was working with people who were being grandfathered in. So they were time-served bricklayers, carpenters. I mean, master carpenters. Just grandfathered in as the council slowly cut down, but then spent more money on agency people.
Yeah, that's the trap.
It's never as simple as, this is socialism, this is capitalism. It's not like that, and it isn't like that. And you can't apply our model to America. It's too vast and huge. You can't apply America's model to our country. It'd be too cruel and fucking indifferent. I mean, from what I know, I'm going to talk about the states as if I know a lot about it here. I think there should be more control ceded to the states. That's my take. Healthcare and things like that. I don't think a federal government in a country that huge, that populous, can effectively look after people. I think it should be a state responsibility. People pay that into the state, the insurance companies, however it works, which I'm still very uncomfortable with, but it's not my problem.
Yeah.
But I think the states should have much more autonomy and responsibility. As an outsider, that's what I think would work far better, because you can always change states. Changing countries is really difficult.
It's a really good thing about America. I mean, that's why so many people are moving to Texas, isn't it? Because, they've just fucked up California so badly. People are just shitting in the streets and nobody cares. It's crazy. It's crazy. But one of the beautiful things about the American model, the American experiment, is if you don't like it, move state. You want to smoke weed out,
that's
move
why the
to
states
Colorado.
should have more autonomy.
It's cured. There's one huge issue with America, though, and it's the same problem we have with the railways being, the health insurance industry is the most heavily regulated thing there, maybe second only to the banks, and that's a huge problem, because we talk about the private industry, but it's actually there's an issue where, for example, insurers can't work across states, and so you've not got that thing where you've not got that Walmart effect where it's buy in bulk and stuff, and actually that's the government's fault, because
of course it is.
They interfere so badly, and that was the thing with Obamacare. It got a lot of people covered.
Even in the UK, I think there should be more control ceded to the local authorities.
Oh yeah,
the counties here, basically, and we're not even the size of America, or but I think there should be more power given. But it'll never happen, because the power has to be in Westminster, and they have to starve areas like ours, whilst rewarding the Tory voting areas like Kent. And even when the Labour get in London, it doesn't. Manchester doesn't do much, but the places in the north are still largely forgotten. Northern powerhouse, really.
Yeah.
We need more autonomy for states and counties. I think that would work great. From what little I know and talking to Americans and what they'd like their country to be, I get the impression a lot of them would be far happier if the state had more control, because, like you said, there's a lot of choice. You don't like it, go to another state. Well,
that's the whole palaver with Roe v. Wade, isn't it? They're all saying like, oh, it's gonna go. What we're gonna do about abortions? And it's like, well, hold up. Roe v. Wade only applies to federal control.
Yeah.
Individual states, still have their controls, and individual states have already, way before all this issues with Roe v. Wade going, they already decided on a state level whether or not they wanted to pay for abortions. Yeah. That's the amazing thing about Roe v. Wade and the panic over it. It's just whether or not the government is liable to pay for abortions. It's not the legality of them.
No,
it's
who's
just
going to pay for it?
It's who's going to pay for it, and ultimately there is an argument to say, well, that should be decided on a state level, because you then, again, do we collectively decide as a state, as a county, whatever, that we all want to chip in and pay for abortions? If you don't, then you kind of have to respect that, whether you like it or not.
Of course.
That doesn't mean that they're illegal. That doesn't mean that you're going to take abortions away from
just
people.
Won't pay for them.
Coulrophobe
said, then you can just move to a state with your values, which is pretty much our point. That's pretty much our point. If it was all at a state level, you could go where you were happiest, that represented how you want to live the best. I think that would be the perfect thing. But what government is ever going to cede that level of power?
Yeah, well, that's the issue. I mean, the problem is we've got this huge issue with statism at the moment, and it's what we really need. And that oddly enough, that was the law of Donald Trump, was the fact that he didn't give a fuck. And he's like, you know what? No, this is insane. We can't just be slowly moving into this, sleepwalking into this socialist attitude. And okay, he's getting rid of like environmental agency. Like, it's fucking, there's insanity there. But I get the fact that people want to put someone in power who's willing to destroy it.
Oh, I get
dismantle
exactly
it.
why people
because
because
it needs to fucking happen. Yeah. You know, people like sort of happily going along about. I mean, we're talking about there's all this thing about the universal basic income at the moment, aren't they? And someone was trying to sell it to me the other day of like, no, but that's what we all produce as a society together. And it's like, hold up, why have higher taxes for us to all then give it to them, and then that goes around the machine. Everyone's taking the cut here and there, and it's going off to G4S, and it's going off to all these fucking slimy, horrible companies, and there's all this, all this like snide deals with the government and so-and-so's husbands doing that, just for us to get a universal basic income, which would just completely fuck the economy up. Because the prices, that's just Venezuela, isn't it? That's exactly what happens.
Exactly what happens.
Fucks the economy up. Why not just have lower taxes? Why not just not fuck people over in the first place?
Might as well just go to the Keynesian model.
What's that?
Might as well just go to that where it's, one of them was all those that want to work. All those that don't want to work, don't work. Give them a working wage and don't work. But the people that work, I mean, it's a lot more involved than this.
Yeah.
But the people at work will earn more, have more.
Yeah.
But the people that don't won't be so socially disadvantaged that they don't have anything. And it's a wonderful model because you're not actively supporting those that don't work. They're making it possible for you to earn more. However, it is just a model. In the real world, it would fail completely because we can't work like that. That's not how we are. And because we all feel it. If you go to the supermarket and there's a guy there who's clearly on benefits, but he's got a trolley full of beer and he's got like 90-pound shoes on, no matter how left and right on you think you are, there's still a part you think, you fucker.
Yeah.
I work really hard and pay my fucking taxes and you can't help it.
Yeah.
So of course it would never really work, but it's just a lovely thought. That's one of my favourites because it's capitalism almost in its purest sense, where it's like, we can't just discard you. So there's money. Don't get in the way of the people that want to go and earn proper money.
Yeah.
And it just, that would, in theory, it would work.
There's a certain argument to say we can afford it. If someone wants to sit on their ass watching telly all day and live on a shoestring, we can afford that.
Wouldn't even be a shoestring.
Like,
I've said it many times on the show. Yeah. There's only 65 million people in this country. We're somewhere around the 6th or 7th wealthiest nation on earth with only 65 million people. Break all the other countries down on a per capita basis, we're doing really, really well. Yet, we're not. We're doing really badly. We can afford all of our healthcare. We could end the homeless problem. We could deal with all these things, but we're pissing money away somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, that's the issue, though, isn't it? Because the government's got so much power.
Yeah.
Things are going on to these contracts. They're going on to these temp things. G4S. That's the problem. Is because the government has been given so much power to over-regulate, to over-get involved with everything. And the problem is that no matter who you vote for, they're not gonna put themselves there and take their own power away, because they benefit from it.
Goes wrong.
Yeah.
The privatisation of the prison system in this country is failing already. It's already failing. The government, the Ministry of Justice have had to take over one prison already.
Yeah.
It's not going to, and it's a terrible idea anyway. Privatising the justice system is an absolutely terrifying idea, especially G4S.
You know, one of the reasons for that, though, is because, like, the prison system is one of the few that have actually still got a strong union, though. Yeah. That's the thing. When I worked at Strange Ways, I think there was twice when everything stopped. I mean, obviously there was a bare minimum, but they all came and sat in the hall that I ran, because I was like looked after the visitors and that. They'd all be just fucking sat there, and I'd be making them cups of tea, which was it's insane what you can get access to at a prison if you just make tea for the fucking guards. It's amazing. You're slipping through security and all sorts. It's amazing fun. But they've still got a union with a backbone, and I suspect that that's part of the reason why it's like, right, we'll just give it to G4S, because fuck them, because they're just a corrupt private arm of the government, aren't they? And this is the thing, why it's the argument for less government, which I get. I totally get it.
Oh, I agree.
Like, yeah. I want a good police force. I want proper justice. I mean, but they're gutting that. They're gutting it. They're taking away people's ability to actually get justice. What's it called? Legal aid is fucked.
Oh, yeah, legal aid, trial by jury. At one point, they were trying to get rid of that.
Yeah. So the one thing that I want them to spend my taxes on, they're gutting and they're getting rid of. They're fucking the police, they're fucking the ambulances, they're fucking the fire service, they're fucking the judicial system, they're fucking the prisons. But they're getting powers in all these other places. You know, they're worried about fucking regulating the internet and all that shit. And it's like, get the fuck out of all that. Get out of it. You know, that's not. It's not actually any of your business. If really,
100%.
We've walked into it. I was talking to someone the other day about seatbelts. You know, and he's like, oh, I felt a bit funny at first with the law on, you know, like legally you have to have a seatbelt on. I don't agree with that. I honestly don't agree with that. I get the logic of it. Of course I do. But I don't get why the government is coming and telling us we have to wear it. If you want to be a dumb fuck that doesn't wear a seatbelt, good luck. Have fun.
I think
it's an odd
14
thing.
and under, it should be a legal requirement. Maybe 16 or maybe 18 under. But once you're an adult, no one should tell you what to do.
I can see the argument for kids. I can. But even then, it's not an absolute. It's not an absolute. If you want to be a dumb shit. But I do understand
you shouldn't be killing your kid.
Protection of parents, I get that. Protection of children, I 100% get that. And the reason that came up is because they were talking about, you know, bad health, people eating too many burgers, and what are the NHS going to do about it? And I'm like, hold the fuck up. Have we sleptwalked into such a nanny state mentality where mummy and daddy government are looking after us, that we're wondering what the NHS is going to do about people eating too many burgers? What the fuck is it on the NHS to sort that out?
Typical example of the government getting this wrong in everything that they legislate.
Yeah.
The drug spice.
Yeah.
Huge problem in Manchester now. Massive problem. It's like Land of the Dead out there. Scattered all over the pavement. This drug is terrible. Cheap, available. It turns people into just zombies. This happened overnight. Almost literally. In a period of 2 months, it became an epidemic. Was it when it became available in the country? No. Was it when suddenly there was a supply? No. When it was legal, and it was, because it's a synthetic cannabinoid, when it was legal, no fucker took it. They went to the head shops, they took it at clubs, they had a bit of fun. The minute the government stepped in and went, well, you're having too much fun, it became a problem. Before that, it wasn't a problem. And there's a lot to be said for this needless prohibition. Look at ecstasy.
Well, but the problem is, once it's illegal, then gangs are involved.
Exactly. Now everyone wants
crimes involved, and then you're creating a supply because it's like money for the gangs. Like, all the rest of it is cheap. Yeah, it's just.
But
insane.
When it was only available in the head shops, no homeless people were smacked out of their head on spice. They just weren't.
But like you said though, why are the government? The government it's protection, but it shouldn't be protecting me from myself. Like, fuck off. If I want to take spice, I want to take ecstasy, any of that stuff.
What we're sold, and people go along with this, is that you must live your life according to the weakest member of your society. That's how we're sold it now. Horror films, Okay?
Yeah.
In our country, as an adult, I am told what fictional film I can watch. Fictional. Human Centipede 2 had like a minute taken out of it. Perhaps a bit more. That's a massive amount of time. But the argument is, and people swallow it, what if somebody watches it and tries to copy it?
Yeah.
It's like, am I supposed to live my life based around what a lunatic will do?
Yeah.
Is that what we are as a society? And it is, and we embrace it. We embrace it as a society because the media sell it. These despicable films. Rough sex videos, okay? Never been my bag. I don't find it appealing. But you know what? It's a video of people, consenting adults, indulging in rough sexual behaviour. One murderer was found to have some on his hard drive. One. It's illegal in this country now.
It's insane, man. It's legitimately insane.
But if this is happening more and more. Tony Blair's government they were bastards for doing this sort of thing. And it's continuing. The UK is screwed because we're making more and more things illegal. There should be the choice of an adult.
Yeah.
And it has the support of the population. I mean, in the 80s, we had the video nasties thing. Do you know there was no scientific evidence behind any of that? There was one bullshit test where they were asking kids, have you seen this film? Have you seen it? Yeah, I've seen that film. So one man went out, and this it wasn't even given a gasp of oxygen. I wish I could remember his name. I might do this for another show. He went out and asked a random group of school kids, have you seen this film yet? And then he started inventing films that didn't exist. Violent films that no one could have watched. A lot of the kids had seen that film. That was the scientific evidence for destroying businesses.
And they want to lower the voting age.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But businesses went, video businesses, distribution businesses, the shops, destroyed. Not only destroyed, prosecuted, criminal records for having a horror film.
Yeah.
And the BBFC is starting to turn back to that again now. I mean, who are they to tell me as an adult what I can and can't watch?
Don't protect me. Don't protect me. It's none of your fucking business.
It's absolutely no one's business what I watch, what I do, what I put into my body. If I'm not hurting somebody else,
exactly,
it's nobody else's business. But America could possibly get that back.
Yeah.
We can't.
No, I think it's probably too
We've
late
never
for this
had
country.
it.
No. Well, we've had that wonderful illusion, haven't we? We've had that wonderful illusion
of it, but we've
freedom.
never had it. We've been ruled by monarchs and kings and despots. And don't get me wrong, it's funny. I say all this. I still love living here. I don't see myself living anywhere else because in my own little world, it doesn't touch me.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'd be very much different wherever else I go in the world. Only this might be easier. You can watch any film you want here, but you can't do that. Right now, I've got I'm comfortable where I am. But in this country, they're outlawing everything. They're outlawing not just freedom of speech, because people take that to mean you can say anything. They're outlawing perfectly reasonable things.
Yeah.
And that we discussed on the show and we mentioned before, there's in our law, it's if someone is offended, you are wrong.
Yeah, and it's written that way.
Yeah.
It's not intent. It's the effect. And it's like, so we're just leaving it to the lunatics then, are we?
That's why you end up with Dankula. Going through this.
He's refusing that, by the way. You know, both of his appeals got put through. He put out a video a week ago saying he's not talking anymore publicly about what he's going to do because of the way his legal team have been treated. Because his legal team were attacked by the judge. Actually, like the judge wrote to him, said you should be, essentially you should be disbarred for this, for doing his job, for appealing it. What else is he going to do? It's his fucking Dankula's representation, and it's great. But here's the thing: I didn't push on it because we were talking about so many other things. But there's that common feeling of like, oh well, Dankula's a racist, and it's like, well, so what? Should that be illegal? Should that actually be illegal, being racist? It's like, oh, but he hid his racism underneath the humour. And it's like, All right. Say worst case scenario, that's true. I don't think it is personally.
What does it matter?
Say worst case scenario, he's a dirty little alt-righter and he's trying to sow seeds of bad thought against Jewish people. He's not doing it the good old-fashioned left-wing way where you just out and out hate Jewish people and you're
Like
open
Corbyn,
about it. Yeah. He's not going the Corbyn route where you're just open and honest about it. No, he's doing it in a sneaky, dirty, naughty way where he hides it behind you. But so what? Should that be illegal?
Let's be honest.
Say he does hate Jews.
Yeah. So what? Yeah.
Should that be illegal? Fair enough, you might not like it, but should
inciting people to acts of hatred that can damage and hurt people or kill people? Yes,
100%.
Opinion should never be illegal.
No,
and it just shouldn't be.
But that's the argument, because we're getting so flippy floppy on the thought police and intent doesn't matter. We're getting so floppy on it now that people are saying that Dankula is inciting violence. And it's like, hold on what thing? What about the psycho that watches the nature documentary about 1,000 ants eating a bird, and he sits there and goes, "Oh, I'm going to eat birds raw now," and you know what? Humans too. And it's like, right, no more nature documentaries.
Yeah, exactly. But that's where we're going.
Yeah, of
that's
course we
where
are.
We're going as a nation. We're heading irrevocably that way, and they've got the support of the public to do it.
Yeah, well, here's the thing in terms of that opinion thing. Fucking Owen bastard knobhead Jones, he did a tweet. This is on you at Boris Johnson, and it was apparently people have been saying letterbox to Muslims more, and it's being classed as a hate crime, blah blah blah, all the rest of it, right? Even though he's far from the first person to use the letterbox comparison, but here's the thing: it's like, this is on you, Boris Johnson, and it's like, or maybe it's on the insane media fucking thing that came after Boris Johnson's quote. Because if you're going to put it on Boris Johnson and you're going to talk about, well, it's not the intent, it's the effect. Well, what about the Daily Mirror writing a completely out of context thing? Maybe that spread hate as well. And what about you, Owen fucking Jones?
What about leaving out half of Boris's?
Yeah, leaving out,
point?
Misquoting him. How's it on Boris Jones? If you're going to misquote him and you're going to say that's right, and 1,000 people are going to go, he's racist. It's all about hate. It's all about hating Muslim people, and you're spreading that exact sentiment, actually misquoting him. What about the thousands of journalists? At least 1,000 journalists that did exactly that, spread the exact hate by misquoting him and saying this is hate. Why don't you just ignore him? If we're going to say effect outweighs intent, then it's on Owen Jones as well.
Yes, absolutely, but it'll never be on him because he's a bright shining star of the left.
Yeah.
Crispy Bacon Halal Hoax says you're heading into bright socialism, not realising that we're heading into privatisation in this country at an alarming rate rather than socialism. It's becoming far more corporate in the UK. The NHS is being bought up at an alarming rate.
Of course it is, yeah.
Housing, it's going quite the opposite way of socialism, but it's still tyranny.
Yeah, it's
still absolute tyranny.
It's totalitarianism. It's the opposite of what's. I mean, it's what socialism it becomes, but it's a different route to it. It's big government. That's the problem with private. One of the issues, you talk about unfettered capitalism. One of the problems with capitalism is when private businesses are so in bed with the government. That's the issue.
Which they have to be.
And there needs to be, you say you separate church and state. There needs to be a separate private company and government. In terms of safety, protecting people, 100%. Housing regulations, that's the regulations that protect people's safety and stop harm, 100%. But all the other stuff, fuck off. Yeah, not interested.
That's all the government should be doing. Security, safety.
That's one of the big problems of a certain form of capitalism when it comes up with government, when it's reliant on it and all that.
There's no easy answer. Anyone that just sits there saying socialism, like people that read The Socialist Worker and think they're socialists, or people say, capitalism's the answer to everything. None of them the answer to fucking anything. It's just we have to find a middle ground, and it's going to be capitalism with regulation. However,
yeah, of course it is.
The problem with that
freedom, is though. That's the fucking core of it. It's got to be freedom.
Regulation to the safety and
of course.
But it just doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
If you go too far one way, you end up with big government. You go too far the other way, you end up with monopolies, which invariably end up as tyrannies.
Yeah.
In the same way that government does.
Well, that's the issue.
Look at Facebook and
That's
Google.
the issue we got social media at the moment, isn't it? But again, the issue there is them being hand in hand with the government.
Yeah.
Government being too big. That's why they hate Donald Trump so much, because he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't. He's not. Facebook aren't knocking on his door and going, "Hey, we'll do you," because
he has been complaining about them.
They're trying to now because they're banning all people that support him, aren't they? They under hate speech, which is just insanity. I mean, if you're going to get someone on it, hey, we didn't talk about it. We only briefly touched on it, didn't we? Alex Jones's $1 million reward. Go on.
Oh Christ, it's getting late.
It is getting a bit late.
Who mentioned that South Africa has started seizing farms now? Now, we were talking about South Africa outside when we were talking about the BDS movement, which we spoke about in the podcast there, and how this focus on Israel when there's other countries doing worse, and what is it going to benefit? And people would say to me, well, we did all the boycotts for South Africa and we got rid of apartheid. You did. Apartheid was a terrible system. It was cruel. Yeah. And what you managed to replace it with was a cruel system where people are victimized. Now, instead of white people oppressing black people, you've got black people oppressing black people and white people.
Yeah.
But that's okay. The left don't care.
Yeah,
it's black people killing black people. It's not a problem. It's not the white people now.
Black on black. That's not a problem for them, is it?
These South African farmers are going to be murdered en masse. It's already been going on.
Yeah.
It's already been going on. And I remember I mentioned to you when previously was Rhodesia. The farm murders there, it was men, women, children slaughtered for land that is now derelict because they were doing that and then putting people on the land who couldn't farm. So the farmers weren't producing, and you know what's happened to those countries. So South Africa has replaced one evil with another terrible fucking evil, and the racism in South Africa, I'm not talking about black and white. Black and the wrong kind of black.
Yeah.
Because you can guarantee no matter what colour anybody is, you'll victimise somebody else because you need to be higher up the pecking order than somebody else. And that's what's happening in South Africa. So they've replaced one form of tyranny with another form of tyranny.
Well, the tribalism creeps in, doesn't it?
And now they're going to kill all the white farmers, and then the farmers are going to fail to produce because they'll put people on the land. It will be a mirror image of Rhodesia, Uganda, and South Africa, which is already not doing great. It's probably going to end up just as another failed African state, another place we kind of got it wrong. But everyone blames the British for South Africa, as if the Dutch had nothing to do with it.
Well, it's the easy way out, isn't it? You just sort of start mumbling about imperialism and colonialism and all that, and as if that's the be all and end all. And it's like, guys, come on. The fucking problem is the lack of capitalism, is the lack of actual freedom, the respect for property. That's the problem. And the places that have that are the ones that do well.
It's striking back at your old masters sort of thing.
And it's the constant interference and all that. It's just
you can see why they'd want to.
Yeah.
Okay, you can, because they're striking back. But the fact is it's just not going to end well. It's not going to end well, and there's just going to be a lot of people dead. And are you telling me that every one of those farmers was a dreadful racist? No, it doesn't work like that. Most of these people just worked the land and paid the staff and worked the land. They didn't have slaves doing it for them, and it's that short-sighted thirst for revenge, So apparently that started now, so there's going to be some terrible, terrible story. They might actually come out now. They've been ignored. It's been largely ignored. And if you mentioned it, you were a fucking racist as usual.
Yeah.
But now they might start to come out.
No, we fixed that. Do you not remember Mandela? He did his little wave.
Sorry, we got that terrorist guy out of prison. Yeah. You know the one that used to put the burning tyres around people's necks? Well, he's nice now. Hello, I'm Nelson Mandela. Yeah. And, he's all there waving and everyone's happy, and now everyone's fucking dying. And it's not saying they need the white man back, because that was dreadful as well. It's just fucked. It's finished.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Going to be a few generations, because the truth is, Africa would never have been like the West. Different culture, different way of life. We kind of fucked Africa good and hard. Gave them expectations of a better life they would never have been allowed to attain, let alone develop the skills to attain, because they were on a different path. But in the West, everyone on the far left always thinks everyone's on the same path and we're all the same people, and we're not, and that's a total lack of respect. The people in the Middle East, the Arabs in the Middle East, the Muslims in the Middle East, they have a very different culture to us, but we keep overlaying our culture on them as if that's the answer, because we're all the same. We're not.
Well,
we're just not the fucking same.
And part of the issue with that, when people do cry colonialism and imperialism and stuff, and that is that underlying thing again that they're lesser.
Yeah.
It's that underlying assumption that they're lesser, that we can go in there and do the bad thing and then come out and everything, and it's like there's been bad thing in fucking Korea. We went in there and did the bad thing, and you know what? They're doing fucking great now.
Yeah, they're doing wonderful.
They're doing really great.
And
Japan, exactly the same.
It goes right across the entitlement complex, like black people in the States wanting reparations for slavery. And my argument, I mean, I when I was talking to that black guy about offence, I've never walked a mile in his shoes. I can't. Okay, I can't any more than he can walk a mile in mine, though. You know, don't make out that, because they always make out that we're so easy to understand, but we can't understand anything else because we're too myopic. If you haven't walked a mile in somebody's fucking shoes, you've only got an opinion. How informed that opinion is up to you. But the reparations thing, do you know what? Slavery was fucking terrible, and we all played a part in it. People in Africa played a part in it, other tribes. The Muslims played a massive part in the slave trade. The UK did, the US did, the French were, they've been bastards around the world. They get overlooked quite a lot. The Spanish.
Yeah.
They infected the world with many different things.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's not like we took the notion. It's not like Europe took the notion of slavery around the world.
Yeah, it was already there. We just capitalised.
They were all
on it.
sitting there with the bongos, just going, "Oh man,
You were all happy.
look
We're
at the
together.
sun." Everyone's like, and then we just turned up and went, "Hey guys, slavery's a thing." No, that's not how it worked.
We
man.
just bought them.
Yeah.
Um,
We went there and bought the
but
slaves
with
who already
reparations,
existed.
Yeah, I mean,
go on.
it's.
No, I say, in fact, we isn't even right. Not me and you.
No, I did fuck up.
Because we were living this.
But this is what I'm getting to
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
This is exactly where I'm going with this. I can see you're already there. We want reparations for the terrible things that happened to our ancestors. Well, you've benefited off the sweat of my ancestors. Well, so have you.
Yeah.
In your house with your flat screen TV, you know, or Plymouth Rock landed on us. Yeah, it did. But do you know what? If your ancestors hadn't endured that terrible fucking time, which no human being should have to have endured, but they did, along with the Irish and the Chinese. Okay, let's not overlook those guys.
And the Italians. Just
hell,
2 generations ago, man, Italians were, the white N-word, weren't they?
Yeah, that
It's
was
like,
the Irish as well.
Yeah.
So no one should have endured that. But if they hadn't endured that, how does East Timor look around this time of year, dude? Because that doesn't look that good over there. So, do you know what? It's shit. Yes, there is still racism. Don't ask for a handout from me for what people did 500 fucking years ago. It's not going to help anybody. Just going to build more resentment. Nobody owes you a fucking thing. What happened, happened. We can't turn the clock back. Money isn't going to change it. What we've all got to do, yes, we all have to work together to erase racism, but that's on both fucking sides. I'm tired of this. There's only you're the bad guy. You know, I've never discriminated against anyone professionally or personally for the colour of their skin. I do it if they're an arsehole. I don't give a fuck what colour you are. If you're a dick or if you're harming my business or anything like that, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're a non-person.
Well,
so we've got to stop. We've got to step away from this entitlement culture, because all that does is reinforce the fact that I need your handout.
yeah, well, it creates voting farms for the Democrats. That's all it does.
Your
That's
handout.
all it does.
I'm not capable. That's bullshit. Yes, racism is still an issue. We've not fixed it yet.
We never will.
But everyone
it's never going to stop.
Because everyone's racist.
Yeah, you're never, ever going to
mean institutionalized, don't
Yeah.
we? But the problem is that, do you know what? It's so much better than it was 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And in 50 years, it'll be so much better.
In terms
again.
of institutionalized racism, it's almost
that's all that
non-existent.
we can deal with. We can't deal with it personally. But people want this.
Yeah.
This.
It doesn't exist.
And they want people forced to not. Remember what I said earlier about
Yeah.
forced acceptance?
Yeah.
People out there actually believe that is a thing that will work. You can force acceptance. It doesn't work like that. So every time you ask for reparations, not only are you going to get the people on the left going, yeah, you should, but the majority of other people go from, no, you shouldn't, to see, I fucking told you so. All it does is make shit worse.
Of course it does.
But I can't have this discussion because I'm not a black man, because clearly, because I'm not black, I cannot comment on black issues. I'm not allowed to have an insight. And it's turned that everyone's the fucking villain now. At TV advertising, the white cis male is the buffoon.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it's how it's sold now, and it's all just bollocks. And
it's nonsense, man. And here's the thing: if you're going to talk about institutionalized racism. You're going to talk about the history and, oh, well, you've benefited, blah, blah, blah. How come Chinese Americans are the richest people in America right now? They do better than anyone. They are earning more money on average than any other ethnic group, including white people. And they're also doing better in the education system so far that there is actual institutionalized racism in the intakes. They are making it harder for Asian Americans to get into the big universities. And in fact, that's just been found to be illegal and it's been banned. So all that shit that California was proudly boasting about in terms of like fucking, what's it called, where they, not diversity, but...
Positive discrimination.
Positive discrimination, yeah. They were holding it up as a big fucking flag, this beautiful, gorgeous thing. It's just, and it's not, it's racism.
Yeah.
And if it's so fucking bad, why are Chinese people doing so well then? Yeah. Because they were treated like absolute shite. Why were Japanese people put in literal camps?
But I am going to say...
And yet they're doing really well now. The problem, it doesn't add up. There's no evidence.
The mentality was imposed and embraced.
Yeah.
That's the problem. There's no two ways around it. No one's blameless.
Yeah.
But the main thing is, you can't look back constantly at 500 years. You can not let people forget.
Yeah.
That's important. But you can't use that as for your reason for not being able to exceed, because there's no physical barrier.
It's irrelevant. It's complete. Yeah. The only relevance is whatever you yourself put onto it. And if you're going to allow other people to breed that weakness into your thoughts, then that's on you for hammering on about that. Look at my ancestors 500 years ago. They were TERFs, they were slaves, they were owned. The Lord could come in and just fuck any of my family members that he wanted. None of what I did, I owned. I could be abused. I had no rights. I couldn't vote. All that stuff. Look at 100 years ago, the Industrial Revolution. We were all just cooped up. Kids as young as 3 were there.
There was a fucking massacre.
Yeah.
Not even 2 miles from here, the Peterloo Massacre.
The Peterloo Massacre, where men and women were asking for rights, were asking for the right to vote, asking for workers' rights.
And they were cut down.
They were cut down. Fuck
by
you.
The cavalry.
Yeah, that's what happens. Do
you know how few kids are taught about the Peterloo Massacre?
Oh, I know, yeah. Well, it doesn't fit the narrative, does it?
Terrifying, isn't it?
You have marches for women's vote and that, and it's like, no, hold the fuck up. Nobody could vote. No,
do you know when they tell people, I'm going to get a bit patriotic about Manchester
go on.
here now, because when anyone talks about Manchester, they bring up Manchester United, or now more often Manchester City, or the Hacienda, or other shit things that don't fucking matter. The kids today aren't taught about the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution.
No,
not
and that's
really.
what it is.
They're not taught about Manchester workers helping end slavery in the United States of America by refusing to use cotton from the South. No one's taught about that. This was in a time where if you refused to work, you went hungry.
Yeah.
No one mentions the Peterloo Massacre.
Yeah.
They don't know that, here, right here, people fought and died for the right to vote.
It's the birthplace of the unions.
The suffragette movement, the unions. This is an amazing fucking city that our kids aren't taught about. But you know what they can have? A transvestite going in to read them a story so they understand sexuality.
Yeah.
It's all fucked. Forced acceptance. I raise my son. I don't want him to be aware of people's sexuality. He's 6. In school, they've mentioned gay people. No, don't. And people say, well, you got a problem. No. I just don't need him to know that people are that different. He has to care.
Yeah, why are you telling...
I'm teaching my son to treat everyone as to how they are to him.
Yeah.
Black, white, brown, purple, green, whether they fuck men, women, whether they dress as, what they identify as. If they're decent people with you, you be decent with them until they give you a reason not to. That's how I'm trying to raise my son. It's the way my father raised me. I was raised in a house where he wasn't an anti-racer, because my dad, he's 80 years old, former nightclub owner. He's not politically correct. But I was never raised to hate or dislike based on any other thing by what is that person like. And if we focused more on that as a society, and less on trying to lift up individuals, because they don't need lifting up. Sometimes they need a hand.
Yeah.
That's all. They don't need to be forced into things, be pushed into things like the poor, fragile little... They just need to be the same as everybody else.
Exactly. It's going back to the assumption that they're lesser. Assumption that they're like, pull them up. Fuck that shit, man. Fuck that.
Treat everybody.
There's some people I've known for years and I still don't know what sexuality. They could be gay. I don't know. because it doesn't fucking matter. It's not
none
really
of
any
my business.
It's none of my business. If it, there's guys that I've met that I find out very quickly they're gay because they want to fuck me, and that's at that point it's relevant. But outside of that, I don't give a shit. I couldn't give the slightest fuck. There's guys I knew for years that I didn't realise they were drag acts on the weekend. And they were like, oh yeah. Totally, like I'm down at the village, and it's like
how they treat you.
It isn't the slightest bit relevant, and ultimately, it's avoiding the assumption that someone is lesser because of the sexuality.
One of the problems I have with gay pride.
Yeah,
I think that's a tremendously self-defeating thing that they do.
I think it's an odd one, isn't it? But
I think it's self-defeating.
I can see the benefit. I can see some benefits of it, and I can see it's one of them where
I'm talking in societal terms.
Yeah, I don't think it's winning or losing. It's one of them where you're getting some stuff and you're losing other stuff.
But they also try and make themselves exclusive.
Yeah.
Rather than inclusive. It's just damaging. Gay pride, black pride, white pride.
Yeah,
fucking stupid.
That's the downside of it.
If you're going to tell me, I think people are born gay. I don't think it's a choice. How could it be a choice?
Yeah.
Yes, I'd like to be pilloried and disparaged by most of society. That'd be lovely. Oh, and I'd love a bit of cock. Thank you very much. No, it's not a choice, because if you're a heterosexual male, you find the actual thought of carrying out the act of gay sex is abhorrent. Because it is. To me, it's abhorrent and disgusting.
Well,
but that's to me.
Yeah, it's not being able to see all the
I'm
smells are wrong.
Exactly. I'm not trying to make rules for other people's lives. So, you've got nothing to do with you being gay. Be glad that you live in a more accepting society and we're working towards even more inclusivity. Be happy. But you know what? If you keep forcing people, all you're doing is creating more of a problem. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing this, again, it all comes back to the same fucking thing. Forced acceptance.
Yeah.
You will elevate this person because they're incapable of elevating themselves. Gay pride isn't gay people rising, it's them being given a protective hand by the council initially that helped fund it and do all these things. It's all fucking stupid. And all this, like I say, black pride, gay pride, white pride. Why is black pride any less ridiculous than white pride?
It's marketed that way, isn't it? And the huge issue that we get from the black pride mentality, and obviously I could see the point of it 50 or so years ago when there was an issue. Although oddly enough, employment, happiness has all gone down since then.
Why be proud of your skin colour?
The problem with black pride comes black supremacy. That's the problem.
Yes.
And with the problem with white, even saying white pride, people automatically...
That's why I always drop it in there every single time.
They link white pride to white supremacy. And, and you'd have that, you have like St. Patrick's Day, everyone's going, hey, I'm proud of being Irish and shit. And it's like, there's a weird thing where we tend not to make the connection between black pride and black supremacy. And black supremacy is a real and very dangerous thing.
Of course it is. But look, you know what you just touched on there?
Go on, what?
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
You can all paint yourselves green. And we're getting to the same... It all comes back to... We've ended up with a theme in extra time. This is unheard of. Usually we're talking about having a poo and things of that nature. St. Patrick's Day, paint yourselves green, be Irish.
Yeah.
St. Andrew's Day or your Burns... No, whatever the fuck you're... Proud Scottish, fly the saltire.
Yeah.
Proud Welsh, fly the dragon. In the United Kingdom, go and fly an England flag.
Yeah. I can't help it. When I see an England flag, I think it happened during the World Cup. They were everywhere, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
I hate that.
I was like, "Oh god!" And I
don't hate that they're flags.
I can't help. I hate the fact that I can't help but have that association. And
I hate the fact that somehow, I'm not particularly nationalist, but I am English. I don't call myself British. I'm English. I was born in England. I'm English. Why can't I be English? Well, we're England. I've not done any of that shit. I was born in England. My son was born in England. We are English. You can be Scottish, Welsh, Irish, or British. Can't be English. And again, we've bought into it as a nation.
Yeah.
We've bought into this idea that even just identifying as national... I'm not talking about nationalism, rampant nationalism. Just identifying as English and flying the country's flag during a football game... Say, hey, we're all in this together, lads. Look, we're going to lose valiantly. Is wrong. And not only wrong, it's racist.
Yeah. Well, that just fits and slides nicely into the actual, the higher organisation of socialists and the socialist mentality, because the whole point is to destabilize the system. So that's the whole point. It's and the unfortunate thing is that most of the people who make that association and do that, they don't do it. They're not coming from a bad place. They're not. When I see the English flag and I think, if I see it outside a pub, I might think, oh, I don't want to drink in there. It's probably full of net racists. It might be, it might not. I don't know. But I'm not having that thought because I'm necessarily like a dirty socialist that wants to destroy the system and destroy everything that's made us as comfortable and as happy and as free as we are. I've got that because I've just had it put into me over time, and it's by a very small number of bad actors, and that's the problem with that. So many people spread this thing without.
It becomes reality.
Yeah, it becomes reality because the language around it is so friendly, and it's all about inclusion, and it's all about getting people involved.
Terrifying?
But it's not. It's very core. It's not. It's very core.
People in this country.
Yeah.
And again, it's difficult because I sound like I'm trying to be nationalistic, but I am English. I'm proud. Not proud is the wrong word. I am English. I just am. And my nation has achieved many great things, none of which I've had anything to do with.
Yeah.
But my nation has achieved. Yeah, it's done bad things. Yeah, well, so's every other. We've achieved great things in the world. But the only people that live on this island who can't say, yeah, I'm quite happy with my nationality, are the English.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah, 100%.
It's when people talk about assimilation, and all these things, and inclusive communities,
It's
diverse communities. It seems to be the way we are wired as people.
Yeah,
is that we can't allow that. It's got to be push. It's like a seesaw. You have to push one side down and elevate another.
Yeah.
At no point can someone just go, yeah, there we go.
But
self-loathing.
Again, no, it's because certain people have conflated pride with respect. Like, the thing is, you can be from somewhere. I can be from Manchester, and I can be proud of the fact that this is the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. This is where trains came from. This is where electricity came. I can be proud of all these things. The electrical grid, not electricity. I can be proud of all these things, but the problem is it's become conflated with this white supremacy, white pride. That same attitude, and it happens very slowly and very subtly over time. And there's a difference between the ridiculousness of being proud of things that you never did and you've not got any connection with, and then there's the other kind of pride that is just
taking pride.
It's a respect. Yeah. It's a respect for the fact that you're standing on the shoulders of giants, and there is that continuous undermining of that, because if you don't respect where you came from, it's easier to dismantle it. Yes. Because you know what, fuck all that shit, fuck all that white supremacy shit.
The dream
fuck
of socialism is a world without borders, one nation, one world government. That's a socialist dream. That's a socialist dream.
It never works, though.
European Union is a socialist dream.
It is. Well, that's the difficulty there. You see, the thing for
but
me...
I want to leave the EU because I don't like brown people, apparently. It's not because I'm terrified of that.
You see, I want to be in the EU, but I want the EU to be... But from a completely different angle, from an economic angle. I want there to be no taxes, no tariffs, none of that. That's the stuff I like.
If only that could be done without a central government.
Yeah, but then there's the other sides to it, which to me, I mean, Jesus Christ,
could you imagine though? If
it's 11 minutes to midnight.
Could you imagine
the EU up?
If we allowed countries to just figure that shit out with each other without having a central government that then has to have the inevitable overreach, and it is a socialist utopia. It just is. Listen to the language. Everyone mocks about the Brexiteers and all that. Have you heard the language coming out of the EU? It's essentially, we're going to punish you. The truth of it is, they're going to suffer mightily as well.
Of course they will. Of course they
Every
will.
bit as badly
Everyone
as we
will. Everyone's going to suffer. The whole fucking
but
planet's going to suffer.
the language coming from them is, we will punish you.
Yeah.
We will punish you. And if we had a stronger leader, we couldn't change that, but we could turn around and go, we'll punish you.
Why'd you bring Brexit up now, man? Jesus
because
Christ.
I'm right.
But here's the
thing.
It
should be an agreement between nations dependent on each nation.
Yeah.
Respect. You know, when we said earlier, cede power to the states.
Yeah.
How can we support that and at the same time support an organisation like the EU, which does exactly the thing we've spoke about all the way through, of assuming the weakness and pretend. What the EU inevitably does in that trying to raise those poor countries, grinds them into the fucking dirt.
Yeah, of course, it's a complete trap. Of course it is.
So I'm right. Fuck
and
the
it's
EU.
the same.
Leave.
But
I've been working up to this for 3 hours.
Oh, fucking hell. But here's the thing though, leave to what? Right, I could get behind leave, and I'd like to get behind leave because that's what's happening. It's the same thing with Trump, and I want to get behind Trump in the sense that I want America to do okay. I want people there to be happy. I want us to do all right out of leaving.
We will.
But
we'll be fine.
How? What?
It'll take a while. You want everything tomorrow, like you're ordering a fucking cheeseburger.
All right, but has anyone at any point during this entire process had anything that's even been the seed of it turning out all right?
Absolutely.
Like the laying the foundation. There's been fuck all.
But anyone that comes forward saying and giving figures and facts going, well, we can do this, it'll be okay, is instantly shouted down and ignored whilst we've got a government that is a Remain government.
Yeah.
It is a Remain government determined. No, it is. Theresa May, arch Remainer, determined to fuck this up. She's weak. She's a milky toast, dreadful woman.
She's pathetic beyond words.
So the reason we can't have a good leave now is because we've got shite leadership.
Of course.
And I knew that when we went into it and I voted leave. But I'm thinking when Junior is 25, 30 years old.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking about. Not now.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I just don't want my son to be a subject of a socialist dream that inevitably will fail. Because it only takes 1 or 2 more countries over there to go tits and that whole thing's going down.
Yeah.
If Italy turns around tomorrow and keeps moving to the right and turns around and goes, go fuck yourselves, what are they going to do? Go to war with Italy?
It's an interesting
one. But it'll drag the EU down.
Yeah.
You know, France, everyone said France, but you can't trust those French farmers.
Yeah,
if they decide they'll get a better, it's finished. It's fucked.
I'm with you. I'm with you with what you're saying. I understand it completely.
I'd rather we had difficulties now, than be too tightly bound to that ship when that fucker goes.
Yeah,
because I think that's going to be cataclysmic on the continent.
You think it's gonna go all the way?
We're going to get more Greece, and people think, well, that's not a cataclysm. Go and tell a Greek person that.
Well, dude, I mean,
because we've got problems with homelessness and old people dying. Compared to Greece, this is a utopia.
I know. My issue is though that in terms of certain metrics, when you stack Greece up against all the other countries in Europe, including ours, we're the one that's next to them in terms. Our homelessness isn't as bad, but we're the next one down for it. You know what I mean?
No,
we're getting fucked for that shit.
We'll be okay.
I get what you're saying. 100% get what you're saying, but I don't. I mean, how the fuck is this government the best?
We've got the most useless.
The best lever that we've got right now in power is fucking Corbyn. The whole thing is fucked.
He's an anti-Semite.
And he's a fucking idiot. I mean,
he's a protester, not a leader.
He's had his chance. He's had his chance. And honestly, I would have got behind him. I would have happily voted for. I might have done. I don't even remember. But he's fucked it. He's completely fucked it. I mean, for this government right now, what they are, the life expectancy is stalled. For the first time ever, it's not going up. It's stalled. There was 10,000 mysterious deaths in January. We still haven't worked out why 10,000 people worked.
Ian Duncan Smith.
Yeah.
Killed thousands of disabled people.
It's crazy, man.
Thousands upon thousands of British citizens.
And if that fucker can't get into power, we've had an election since then. If he can't get into the power on the back of this shitstorm of a government, Brexit is fucked. And maybe in 20 years, someone with the balls. But
that'll be a process, not a person. But don't worry, because we've got a saviour.
Yeah.
We've got a saviour.
Have we? No.
No, Jacob Rees-Mogg. I know Happy Dog was probably getting his cock out of his pants at that point.
Go on.
Bojo. Riding from the west, or the southwest.
Oh, God.
His golden locks flowing in the wind.
We are so fucked.
Bojo will come to save us.
He is literally the best choice right now.
I know.
Out of everyone there.
Isn't that exciting?
How did we get to the fucking point where
we could live in a world
fucking Johnson,
where Bojo and Trump have a meeting as leaders, heads of state? This is brilliant.
Well, that's all right.
I will be so excited about the next G7.
Well, at least this show will be good that week, won't it, eh?
Oh.
At least we'll be happy, giggling away.
It'll be gold forever. The
Yeah,
alliance
yeah.
we'll build with the United States will conquer all before it.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, man. But this is the problem, though.
Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Wouldn't you be tempted?
Oh, God. There's no one else right now.
If it was the next election came up, let's say there's a snap
Tomorrow,
election because Theresa
tomorrow I
May
have to
finally
go and vote.
broke
Yeah.
in half. Corbyn or Johnson?
There's no way. There's no way that I could pick fucking Jeremy Corbyn over Johnson. Because Boris
You
Johnson...
would have to vote Tory.
Boris Johnson is a dick. He's a massive dick, and he doesn't give the slightest fuck about people. He doesn't care. He doesn't believe in the NHS. He doesn't...
More importantly, he doesn't pretend to.
No, but that's the thing. He doesn't fucking pretend to. At least there's a modicum. And you know what? He's a slimy fucker, and he's manipulative, but at least he's something.
Let me tell you something. I don't think the NHS would be any worse off under Boris Johnson
Well,
than
no,
anybody
it's
else.
just fucking...
He might go the other way. You don't know.
But this is the problem is that because we've got this kind of incompetence and we've let identity politics drift in so much. This is why the far left and the far right are coming up so much, though.
We're fucked.
Because we're so fucked. We're so insanely fucked. Because you might be happy about 25 years from now when things
I'll be dead
better.
25 years from now.
But the average person isn't someone like you or someone like me is actually willing to give this more than 10 minutes of actual,
That's the best
genuine critical
They're not
thought.
going to get a choice.
But they're just, and they are literally, they're doing it now. They are out on the streets. The far right and the far left are coming up. And you know what? Here's the thing, man. When the far left and the far right come up in history, and this includes the Nazis, because there's that bullshit meme that goes on about, well, the irony of tolerance is that, and they go, look, we were tolerant to Nazis. No, we weren't tolerant to Nazis. Antifa existed then, and they were brutally violent, and that's how the Nazis came into power. They painted themselves as the victim, exactly like fucking Tommy Robinson is now. And I'm not saying he's Hitler, and we've been over this before, but the problem is because you've got fucking idiots like Theresa May who hasn't got the fucking balls to do things properly, to just be honest and straight and deal with it. Is you've got the far left and the far right coming up, and the chances are that the far right will win.
Oh yeah,
of course they fucking will, because they always do in that situation.
Every country, when pushed to its extremes, lurches to the right.
Of course it fucking does.
Historically, that's how it works. You lurch towards the strong man. That is the nature of the beast, because the left is inherently self-destructive and more authoritarian than the right.
You've got all these cunts, these miserable fucking moronic arseholes bragging about let's punch a Nazi. You fucking idiots.
Especially when you see half the people that say that.
I know. They can't even...
What you mean is you want somebody else to punch a Nazi for you.
What am I going to do? I'm going to incite violence, you fucking retard. You bolted on fucking retard. You are literally inciting violence, and you are putting the far right in power as you're doing it. And you know what? You think that you're doing it because you're a good person. You think you're coming from a place, but you're not. You're part of the same ideological machine that puts Trump in power.
Here's
that
the thing.
puts fucking Hitler in power.
One
you
Antifa
fucking
guy.
idiots.
One Antifa guy. It's that escalation. It's the classic escalation. They go and punch some right-wing fucking racist prick. A bigger right-wing racist prick comes and punches one of them.
Of course he does.
Everyone thinks it's like, when you used to speak to people like, I'm going queer bashing.
Yeah.
Beating up queers. Till they get down there and see how many of them are fucking bodybuilders.
Yeah.
They're all cut to fuck.
Yeah, man.
Because he sucks cock, he's going to be weak. No, he's going to bend you over and fucking give it all to you.
Don't fuck with the gays ever.
Oh, the trannies.
Ever.
I've seen trannies having a fuck.
Oh, they will fuck you up, man. A man that puts another man's dick in his mouth. It's just like, don't fuck with the gays.
If
ever.
he can take 8 inches of cock and smile about it, he's the tough fella.
Brag about it.
Yeah.
That was a good night.
Whole fist.
I come into work the next day like that. Oh, he's got his pink sparkly mug today. You had a good night, didn't you, mate? I fucking did, yeah.
We need a lurch towards the middle.
Yeah, man.
And we're going to have to wrap this because it's fucking midnight.
I know.
We've gone over an hour over.
I've got to say, though,
very good.
I was looking at this the other day and I told you about it, and I went, and it was the biggest circulated newspaper in Italy, and it was hard translated and everything, but Antifa abducted some far-right leaders, and these are far-right people. These are people who were bolted on far-right people. Yeah. They abducted them and kicked the fuck out of them, and then days later they did a bombing. They actually bombed
terrorists.
The far-right headquarters.
They're fucking terrorists.
Slipping into the thing. And you know what? It's not been mentioned. And what are you telling Antifa at that point? You're telling them, you know what you can do? You can bomb them. And it's like, dude, why do you think the far right are getting into power into Italy right now? It's because that shit's getting unreported. It's exactly the same thing's going to happen here. And the far right will get in. They will.
People talk about the UK, don't they? A lot of people, like, you cuckold, you got this and that. And they don't know a lot about our history. They don't know that in recent history, when we've had the race riots.
Oh, yeah,
and I don't mean minorities kicking off. I mean the indigenous population kicking off. Yeah, everyone says, oh, the English are this, the British are that, the British. Never forget that the British are the same as anybody else. And there's also, there is a violent undertone to our society. For every person like the one we mentioned about punching Nazi, there's people that will go out there to punch fucking anybody. You know, it's the reason we have plastic glasses in our nightclubs, you know, in our pubs.
Yeah.
We can't be trusted. Why don't you have guns in the UK? We're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
We're fucking idiots. We can't be trusted with that. We can't be trusted with a fucking stick.
Yeah.
Last time they gave us guns, we took half the fucking world over.
I know.
We're not to be trusted.
It's great, wasn't it?
We're fucking idiots. We are. We're dreadful as a nation.
We are.
We are the most warlike island nation on the planet Earth.
But we're also a fucking. Here's the other thing about us though. When we were colonisers and everyone hated the English because they moaned about slavery. If they pulled up at a port and there were slaves there, we'd get off the boat, our colonising arses. We own a third of the planet or whatever it was. We'd get off and lecture them about having slaves. That was the thing. The English were hated for that. It was one of the first memes in terms of everyone hating English. The fact that we were all smug about, oh, you've got slaves, have you, dickheads? And we judged them for it.
Quite right.
And then we go home and kick the fuck out of each other.
Quite fucking right we judge them for it. We're the English.
Because we're hypocrites, just like everybody else.
Of course we are. But because we'd done away with them, because we'd had the juice out of slaves. Yeah. Juice, not Jews. Don't want you getting too excited. We can judge everybody else.
Yeah.
It's Great Britain.
Well,
rule Britannia.
It's because we Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing, and this I stand by this 100%. It's because we as a nation became individually free enough to not need slavery. There was enough agency, property rights. That's the thing. People go on about fucking capitalism and all the things it's done. Like actually saying that capitalism caused slavery, and it's like, dude, capitalism is the reason that slavery stopped. It's the reason, and only because people had enough freedom to just be like, holy shit, we can actually exist in our own, like, I can just own myself.
All these people.
If I can own myself, then maybe, you shouldn't be owned either.
Mr. Punch Nazi guy?
Yeah.
People like him, because, I clump them all into one homogenous lump of person. I find them all very interchangeable. The only reason they can be as they are and judge as they do is all the terrible things our nation has done before to put them in that position of abject comfort.
Yeah. Spoilt, smug fucks.
That's the only reason they can project onto the rest of the world and tell everybody else how to do things and judge everybody else according to standards that are frankly unattainable.
Yeah.
And they don't live by themselves. They talk it, they don't walk it. And the only reason they can do that is because there's not a beach on this planet we haven't rolled up and slaughtered every single native we found. That people left our country, went to America, and founded America. That became a very similar entity. And everyone in America, the SJWs that smugly judge everyone that might live in the Rust Belt and might have a hope in hell that Trump will bring prosperity back to their country. Part of the world, because Hillary was never going to do it, and he was their fucking hope. He's what they had to hang on to, and they judge them because they are fucking comfortable because of slavery, because of war, because of what Britain did, because of what America did. And without all the bad people, they would have had fuck all, and they'd be out there doing the same bad things to other people to get by, but they don't have to slaughter other people to be fed. So it's that comfort that gives them that position in fucking life. Bastards. Profiting off slaves.
All of them.
They're all fucking bastards. Every last one. In fact, I'm going on Facebook in a minute. I think he's still got me as a friend for some strange reason. I'll fix that.
You start fights on Facebook. I'm not.
Let me get my pen and tap the table.
I'm so glad I'm not on Facebook. Although I did get asked off to go on it the other day when you told me about that. advocating for violence against women. I was like, you fucking serious?
That was fucking... All right, now the woman in question, I'm going to tell you guys quickly
Yeah.
a story. This woman was very abusive to another woman whose son had some kind of autism, I expect, something like that.
So the story
The story says she was very rude. Now, all right, you know what? That's unforgivable. You give someone a piece of your mind.
Yeah.
You do. It's fair enough. Dreadful woman.
Yeah.
This right-on guy, who's incredibly right-on, he's incredibly SJW to the T, was like, this is the sort of cunt we should be allowed to hit. Something to that effect. So hang on, you want to punch a woman because she's rude?
Yeah. I was talking to my girl about this as well. She was like, hold up. Is it worse to punch a woman than it is to punch?
Yes.
I was like, yeah, it is. Because they're physically weaker.
And also because my dad had knocked fuck out.
I was like,
it's the way I was raised.
It's still wrong to hit a man, but it is worse to hit a woman. Of course, it fucking is. Why have we got to the point where it's not about respect? It's not about respect and equality when you just start completely ignoring things. Like I said to my girlfriend, and this wasn't something she was offended by. I said, you go and study jiu-jitsu for 2 years. Go and do it every fucking night. Do it. Go on and come back here and start a fight with me. I'll kick the shit out of you. I'll be sat here eating pizzas. I will beat the fuck out of you because I'm a dude. It's not some like...
It's all coming out now.
No, but
I know what you mean. I'm being a dick. No, you're right.
In terms of it being a thought experiment, that's why it's worse to hit women. It's not saying it's okay to hit men. Advocating violence is wrong. Full fucking stop.
But advocating to hit someone that's inherently weaker than you.
Yeah, but a dude advocating to hit a woman is just that little bit extra. It's an extra layer of slime. And you know what? If you're so far gone into the far left that you're talking like that, then you've been radicalised.
Oh, 100%.
You are talking. That's how terrorists talk.
If I said to him, if I'd have gone on that post, which I don't, because I try and avoid some of your mates and things where I can, because it just causes friction.
Yeah, well, I do too. I don't want to. I don't want to get in fights with people because it doesn't.
But if I said to him, "You're advocating hitting a woman,"
yeah.
Now, if your wife was rude to somebody else and they said, "Give her a fucking crack,"
yeah.
Well, she would. Oh, it's subjective.
Oh, is it okay?
You get to decide which woman gets punched.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's it. You decide. And you know what that is? That's exactly how ISIS recruits people. That's exactly how they recruit.
How is he any better than the guy that thinks a woman should get a good hiding because she didn't bring brown sauce home with the shopping?
Yeah.
Or because the chips are cold.
Or she didn't put a fucking niqab on.
Yeah.
And she showed you her hair.
It's exactly the
going around
same.
like a slut. It's the exact same mentality. And someone said the other day, they were like, they tweeted saying, I miss Facebook. And I was like, I messaged him, I was like, dude, do not do it. It narrows your worldview. And the problem with narrowing your worldview to that point is you are susceptible to radicalisation. Oh, yeah. And that shit where you're justifying violence against women or justifying violence against another person because of their viewpoint, not because of their actions, because of their viewpoint.
See, that's the funny thing, isn't it? Remember when Richard Spencer got the good hiding?
Yeah.
At first, I was a little torn on that because I was all right with him getting a good hiding.
Yeah.
Then I thought, is it because he's a Nazi or is it just because he's a smug, horrible cunt? And I thought, do you know what it is? I don't advocate violence to anyone, but as that it happened, I am just hypocritical enough to go, I was all right, though. And it was a shit punch, to be fair.
I saw it the other day, and I was like, yeah, that's a good one, that. Yeah, nice one. But it's still disgusting.
Well, there's other people I find disgusting, like Cernovich. Horrible man. Horrible man.
Yeah.
I've never spotted anyone punch. And certainly, I even post about what people are saying about his kids. His wife.
Yeah. Fuck that shit.
That's fucking unforgivable. I don't care what his views are. You don't wish shit like that on someone's children.
Yeah.
I'd still host Cernovich. I despise the man.
But
this whole thing, these people that claim that they're liberal.
Yeah.
This is what this boils my piss. One of your friends said to me, because I said, I'm very liberal. He said, you're not what I'd call liberal. Actually, I'm probably far more liberal than you.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to stop either side thinking how they think or having an opinion. They class themselves as liberal when really they're authoritarian. They're fucking fascists.
Yeah, of course it is.
Puritan, that's what your mate there is slipping into.
Yeah.
That's fascism.
That's exactly
We're
exactly
going to decide who the underclass are.
Yeah.
We're going to decide who can be bid. And we're not going to let those people decide who the underclass are based on the colour of the skin. That's very wrong.
Yeah.
We're going to decide who the underclass are based on what they think. That's much better.
the left have fucked it in that respect because they've become so smug about deciding who's allowed, who should and shouldn't be hit, who should and shouldn't be listened to. But what they've actually done is they've completely cut out the working class.
Yeah.
They've completely cut them out, and they're so busy reading the Guardian and the Independent and feeling amazing and judging everyone and what's actually happened is they're all jumping on the fucking Tommy wagon. They're all jumping on, and that Richard Spencer punch did way more damage than just hitting that guy's face.
Oh yeah,
it did way more because you're empowering him then, and you've got people worried. You know, they don't. Here's the thing, man. People are fucking stupid. They are. The vast majority of people, even if they're capable of really thinking about all this stuff and really going into it and really grappling with it, because it's complicated and it's intense stuff and you have to go to dark places. Even if they're capable of doing that, they're too busy working 40 hours a week, they're too busy raising their kids, they're too busy worrying about the dickhead neighbour that keeps throwing shit over the wall. They've got all this stuff that they have to worry about. So if they then see a story about, you know, like female genital mutilation or fucking rape gangs and stuff like that, and they're not going to go into the statistics and go, well, actually on a one-to-one basis it's vastly more white people, but on a group basis it's vastly more Muslims, like a staggering percentage. They're not even going to look that far. No. They're just going to look at the fact that even trying to have the conversation.
I was called a racist.
It's like that's the thing though. You try and have that conversation. They try and have that conversation. The proletariat, and it's like, fuck you, you fucking racist. You know what? He's a fucking Nazi. Punch him. And it's like, Dude, do you not see what you're doing? You're playing into their hands because they're not going to get in your team then. And then you're going, and then you say, oh, well, we want to empower people. We want to give people rights and stuff. And it's like, dude.
Only the right kind of people.
And it's like, you know what? I don't believe you.
I was accused of racism the other day when we were talking about rape gangs. And I said there's a worrying predominance among Asian men. Now, Asian in this country, by the way, some Americans think that's copping out as what we refer to as Pakistani, Indian. They're the Asian people over here. And they said, you're a racist. I said, but per capita, because they said more white people abuse kids. And I said, well, yeah, but that's because there's more white people.
Yeah, there's loads of them.
If we're talking per capita, there is a worrying predominance among predominantly northern Pakistan males of being in these grooming gangs that target white girls. This is a problem. That's just racist. No, it's just a fucking fact. Yeah. How can a fact be racist?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and it's again, it's the thing with these conflating these terms, isn't it? You know, you can be talking about people from you can be talking about men from northern Pakistan. And you've been saying, right, well, there's an issue there. In the same way that there's an issue with Russians, a certain number of Russians infiltrating servers and spying on elections. You're not then racist for saying, oh, shit, man, the Russians are doing that. If you're saying that people from northern Pakistan are ganging together and raping kids, that's
just a fact.
It's just a fact, and it's like you need to get over the fact that that's a fact, that's something that happens.
Well, the thing is, facts can't be racist. Facts can't be hateful.
No, of course not.
Facts have no emotional content.
But they can be uncomfortable. Of course they can. They are uncomfortable.
But it's just a fact.
But it's just a fact. Yeah, man. It's
what
like,
we're gonna have to do, dude. We're gonna have to stop.
Before we do, I got to say, because mate, you've got to, at that point you've got to say the Shapiro thing about facts don't care about your feelings.
Yes.
And some people get really fucking butthurt about that, and they go, but my feelings. But it's like, no, and here's the example to give. Here's always the example. You don't talk about trans, you don't talk about any of that shit. You talk about the anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
You know, and we said this the other night, didn't we? Like, if you're gonna talk about facts don't care about your feelings, there's a lot of people right now who've got the feeling that vaccines are probably pretty bad. But if we woke up tomorrow and vaccines killed 1,000 babies in the most painful, destructive, horrible way possible, literally, the news footage everywhere, 1,000 babies just turning inside out and screaming in agony. Even if that happened tomorrow, vaccines are still the best way to go.
Of course.
Factually, it's saved millions upon millions of lives, and it's the reason we live.
Anti-science amongst the anti-vax people that's terrifying. They question herd immunity because they say, well, if vaccines work, why do we ever? Because there's people that can't have them. There's people that are allergic to them.
Yeah, of course.
There's people they don't work for, like aspirin doesn't work on my wife, but paracetamol does. You know, people, you've got to protect those.
Yeah.
That's the whole fucking point, you selfish fucking prick, is that you're protecting that child over there that can't have a vaccine. Not because the parents are fucking Nimrod that's been reading bullshit on the air. One fucking doctor started this.
Yeah.
One fucking doctor who was discredited thoroughly, but of course, that became a conspiracy to silence one fucking shitheel who wasn't even a scientist in that field.
Yeah.
Just one fucking shitheel. And it's like Tommy Robinson. The prick got sent down for being fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Regardless whether the sentence was too harsh, what happened to him was wrong inside. We've discussed that. He got caught because he was fucking stupid.
Yeah, he fucked up.
But it's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
They're all flat earthers, the fucking lot of them. Anti-vaxxers, the left, the right. Anyone that identifies as one of these people is a fucking idiot. If someone defines themselves as a conservative, defines their whole being, and adheres to that
this is my team now.
dogma.
Yeah, this is my team.
They're a fucking idiot because that team does not exist.
What do we think? What do we think?
Human beings
what's the plan?
exist
Fuck
on a
off.
spectrum.
Yeah, of
You know,
course.
sexuality, personality, politics. It's just a fucking spectrum.
Yeah.
I tend to be financially more conservative. On social issues, I tend to be far more liberal. On crime, in the middle.
The shit that I fall more on the right than you.
Yeah.
And I know that doesn't fit well with the narrative of like the libtard whatever.
I know, but it's the truth.
But then I'm all for like open borders. I'm way more for open borders than you are. Way more, obviously. That's why I'm a Remainer.
It would be hard to be any less for them.
But I'm not an absolute fucking idiot that's standing there going no borders, no,
exactly.
Scrap the lot because it has to be controlled.
Centrism, dude.
As was shown in Hong Kong. You know, if they just opened Hong Kong up, that would have completely fucked it, completely destroyed it.
Centrism
And,
is the way.
And actually, because I'm on a run with it at the moment, but Hong Kong is the most capitalist place that's ever existed. We actually, just because we were lazy, just because the British government couldn't be arsed regulating it the way we do, and that's why it's so rich. That's why it's so fucking insanely well. I mean, I told you my uncle. I can't speak on air, but my uncle there. I mean, that dude. We're talking about a 9-floor house, and he just went over there. It's insane.
But what we're going to do is 12:15.
Yeah, and maids are normal there.
And do you know what? I'd love to do this for another 2 hours.
Yeah.
But we can't.
No, I know. Shit.
Because I've got a load of responsibilities at home that I don't really want at the moment.
Me too.
However, I've really enjoyed it tonight. So, cheers, mate. That's been fucking brilliant. We've reached over 9,500 people on fucking Facebook.
Oh, beautiful.
No, reached.
Reached.
Yeah.
So they're aware
They've
that
seen
this
it
is happening.
drift past in their feed and gone, oh, fuck no.
Just a frozen shot like that.
They've seen it. No, they've not clicked. It's just drifted past into the ether. But there's people that have been with us the whole 3 hours.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much for your time, guys. One of the reasons we've done this for this week is because we fucking love it.
Yeah.
But another reason there'll be no trigger warnings next week because I'm taking my son camping. We need to just get out of the city for a bit and get him a break from it. He's not had the best of summer holidays. So.
I misunderstood the message completely because I've already cancelled coming Thursday. I'm coming Thursday, but...
No, we'll do Thursday, but next week, just me and the boy are going to escape to Cumbria.
Right.
On Lake... don't tell people the lake, but in Cumbria, and it's going to be a beautiful time, even if it's pissing down, I don't care.
Yeah.
We found out there's a stone circle as well, so...
nice.
So we've done this time, but thank you so much for your time. I have no idea how we're going to release this much on podcasts.
No, it's going to be a bit intense, isn't it?
Should I just put one big...
Because I had an introduction, didn't I? We should just put the whole fucking lot, and they can be like, here's the bit where he introduced the thing.
Yeah, just make your own podcast.
And they actually thought it was going to be only another 45 minutes. Bless their little faces.
It's what happens.
I got to tell people, though, if you are watching, we really want to do this every Tuesday. This is how we want to do it. And please, if you can conceptualize it like this, if you got to see a movie, how much is that going to cost? It's $10, something like that. If you have sat here for 2-3 hours or whatever getting entertainment, then just please consider dropping a couple of bucks on the Patreon. Please, seriously. If you look at it just in terms of time, like we want to give you this every single week, but we want to do it in a way that is insanely cost effective to you. So you think about how much you might spend on an album, how much you might spend on the cinema.
Of coffee,
yeah. I mean, literally, you'd spend what you'd spend on a cup of coffee, and you'd sit there for 20 minutes. going, oh wait, this isn't Starbucks isn't nearly as bad as I was told by Twitter. There's people of all races here, and nobody gives the slightest fuck. It's amazing, isn't it? Think of the $5, $6, $10 that you might spend doing that. If you could put it on the Patreon, we'd really, really appreciate it. And then you get this every single week.
Absolutely.
Twice a week.
Yeah.
You get this, and you get the angry version.
Yeah, the shouty
where he sits over there and tells you all to fuck off.
and more if we keep growing it. I mean, the idea behind it, if there ever was such thing as a grandiose plan, which there hasn't really been, but it's to develop a loosely and connected freedom of opinion platform.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech online now is very difficult, and everyone's got a different interpretation, but freedom of opinion is what I believe most people really mean by freedom of speech. It's the right not to be censored because you don't think the same as somebody else, not to be treated differently because you don't believe this about X, where someone says you have to think that about Y. And it's loosely connected. Obviously, there's LL rumbling in the background. That's a different beast. But with Trigger Warning, with the Cogent radio station that we're looking at doing more with, that's got to be a platform for people, regardless of where they find themselves on the political spectrum. And with eventually down the line, the Cogent Nation thing, it all ties in. But mostly, Trigger Warning want it to be just, informative. Makes it sound like we're trying to teach you. No, because most of you guys are fucking incredibly well switched on. Just entertain and chat with you, and just be open and get more audience participation and things, figure things out properly so we can do that.
And disagree. That's the thing. It's that thing of disagree. Coming and sitting here, and
I've always said that. It's the best thing about my show for me.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have massive viewers, but we get a couple of thousand people. But what I love about my audience and genuinely cherish is I watch other people's shows and everyone's right behind them. And it's strange to me. But I'll say something and half my audience go, fuck off, dickhead. And I love that because I'm not preaching, I'm just talking to them, not at them, and I fucking love that. Yeah, but as well as the bit of casual abuse.
It chisels away at your views then, your view, not your views in fuck man, nobody's watching
as well.
But it chisels away at your own view, and it finds the weaknesses in your own argument, your own thought process, and by being challenged. That's why I genuinely really appreciate it. I don't get it. That's why I try for it on Game Face, but everyone's too scared to actually go on.
That Game Face is such a wonderfully happy.
Yeah, it's more of a celebration.
So when you go on a small rant,
it
has massive impact.
Yeah.
If you went on one of those rants on Trigger Warning, it would be people go, he's a bit calm tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, finally the fucking show started. Jesus Christ. I've been sat here 45 minutes listening to fucking bullshit. Knobheads.
But everything's different for every different purpose. But Game Face Show, you still get to cover a lot of topics that a lot of gamers won't. So it all works.
That's the plan.
That's the gammoning.
Well, yeah, that's why it doesn't get that many hits, because I'm not sucking up to the trend.
Well, that's why
whatever.
we don't get as many hits as we could, because we've not picked a side. But you know what? I enjoy what we do, and hopefully you guys do too. And thank you so much for doing it. If you've listened to this on a podcast, fucking well done.
On the way to work.
If you've been here live with us for 3 hours, guys, it's genuinely humble. I say this quite often. It sounds so insincere, but I'm genuinely humbled by the fact you'd spend your time with us, and I hope we've made it worth it. I'm not going to mention the Patreon again. We'll be back on Thursday with Trigger Warning TV. If you're listening to this on podcast, go and check out the rest. We're on Podomatic. You can get them on the Cogent Radio app, and we're now on Stitcher, which some people can have in their automobile, apparently.
Yeah, Stitcher's quite good.
And we'll add it to more platforms, I guess, over time. I'm not that concerned about rushing into these things. Oh, we're on DTube. We've got one video on there. And BitChute is still adding on videos.
They just won't stop.
I added one to see what it was like. I was sandwiched between two of the most hateful people I've ever. I thought, maybe it's just not the platform for me. Good luck to you guys. And then I logged on last week and there's fucking 8 trigger warning videos. Did I miss a setting? And I think I must have. There must be an auto-curate.
Yeah, there is. I saw someone talking about that on YouTube the other day.
But it makes my life easier.
Well, it's they're just playing the field in terms of you getting a backup, because YouTube's going tits up, isn't it? And
I'm all right for a backup.
Not a lot of people. Honest. Yeah, not a lot of people are sort of quite so comfortable in terms of you mod the mods on Lively. You know what I mean? Not everyone has that fallback.
Hey, do you know once?
What?
Should I save this story? There was once a mod on Lively that wanted to remove one of my items because he said, well, it's against the rules. It's when I was interviewing Giovanni Lombardo Radice, the Italian actor, and I had a clip from one of his films in.
Right.
I was like, well, it's not fair. It's one of his rules. I'm gonna delete it. And one of the admins at the time, bless, came in and went, just leave that.
It's all right.
But I've had shit taken off on.
I'm sure he had signed consent for him to show it. Don't worry about it.
I've had things taken off me on. I've had things removed. I've had to go and go, what are you doing?
I've been banned several times, haven't I? Phoning you. Hey, didn't they ban me for life again?
I don't stress. It's like, when you get banned on any platform, I don't stress. We're on our second YouTube ban at the moment.
I know.
I reckon we might skip another. I reckon we might be all right.
I still don't know why Amazon haven't come through. They've been blatantly positioning themselves. I don't know if they're waiting for YouTube to really fuck up.
I think they're waiting for us.
Yeah.
They're waiting for us. We deserve an Amazon show.
Yeah.
3 hours of this on Amazon.
This.
Nailed on. I'm definitely more an Amazon guy, but I'd be happy with Netflix.
Yeah.
They've got a couple of slots free, haven't they, after those comedians fucking tanked.
After they got rid of Miss fucking Abortion. Dude, at what point did America lose the plot so much when the respect for pro-choice, it's still a bad thing, you're still taking a life or a potential life, became doing a fucking dance about how amazing abortions are.
I can't understand why your Netflix show didn't take off.
It's like, dude, that's so fucking gross. It's like...
Do you know what? I've only known a couple of women that have had abortions.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go into this now because it's 12:25, but I've never known one that went, oh, it was fucking great. I danced out of there without a care in the world.
I'm so glad. I feel so represented now. This is really worth my Netflix subscription. I've been waiting years to see something like that because that's exactly how I felt.
Turns out nobody had waited any time whatsoever fucking ever, and down she went.
Arseholes hammering on about representation, and then you trust them with it, and that's what they do. Nah, you're all right, mate. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to find my sense of self via the media. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Guys, it's 25:12.
Yeah,
We've been doing this for 3.5 fucking hours.
I know. Okay. We'll stop.
It's been great, though.
I'm going to shut.
Guys, thank you so much. Keep in touch. We're online. You know how to get to us. You can find us. And we'll see you on Thursday. We'll see how long that one lasts. I remember, if you're watching this on live, on Thursday after Trigger Warning, there's going to be a reasonably short, who am I kidding, show just for Live Leak about Live Leak issues, because we've been promising it for a while, so that's going to happen on Thursday night after Trigger Warning. So, we'll see you guys then. We're definitely out of here.
Happy Eid.
I'm going to let that one sit for a minute.
I'm just turning my computer off because that'll stop me talking.
You had them all praying outside your house.
I know, yeah. 9,000 of them. 9,000. I don't mind. It was just a bit.
I've got to admit, 8
in the morning was a bit much, though.
But I'm going to admit, because no one's listening. You know where I live. Ferociously white.
It was white, yeah. It's one of the things I disliked.
We have one of each ethnic minority where I live. It's not even posh.
When I lived around there, I was known as the student. And that was my moniker.
It makes it sound like it's out in the country, doesn't it? It's only a few miles away.
But it was like, hey, it's the student, everyone. I wasn't even a fucking student. It was just that, the vibe, the fact that I look ridiculous.
I just get left alone in general.
Yeah.
It's him.
Oh, it's that one again.
I'm still disgusted I didn't get to switch the Christmas lights, and I'm by far and away the most famous person there. Not the bloke that owns the chip shop.
It's a good chippy, though.
It's not. Have you seen the state? No.
Things have changed then.
I nearly said the name of another one I go to, but let's leave it there. Good night, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.